Hello and welcome. I want to talk about some important topics to me, and I feel like they're important topics to you, especially with my observation of a lot of the information that is in the sea of information of the internet, social media, YouTube. And I only speak from experience. Hi, for those of you who are new, my name is Paige. I am an intuitive, a psychic medium. I am not a therapist or a psychiatrist. However, I have been guided and intrigued since a very young age to study human behavior and human psychology. As well as I've had my own experiences in life which prompted me to understand more about myself and about others and about what is truly happening. And today's video, I want to talk about healing from narcissism, from narcissistic abuse, not narcissism. That's a whole different, but let's go into narcissism because that's such a big topic and there's so much information out there, and it is some part of the awakening journey. And yes, the awakening journey is a healing journey, and as I have been going through my healing and awakening journey, I have discovered and understood a lot from my own experiences with narcissistic abuse as a codependent myself. First of all, from where my perspective is that they're not all full-fledged narcissists. And I'm sure that there are many that have information out there of the various degrees. There's a scale of narcissism, but a full-fledged narcissist is a post-traumatic stress, a post-traumatic condition where an individual at a very young age had experienced extreme abuse by their parents, one or two. Usually it's an extreme fear of one, while an extreme feeling of abandonment by another, usually the mother. And so I'm going to go with this first example to help you understand if you are one who has left a narcissistic relationship but still feel that this energy and these behaviors or this feeling is still with you. There's something that continues to pull you back or hold you down. So someone who has developed narcissism has done so at a very young age, usually between the ages of 2 and 6, the ages where we start to form our own individual self, individuation. So the narcissists have never been able to, have never individuated. They have felt or experienced extreme separation, extreme stress and trauma from the separation of the mother, and the pain that is involved there. You think of a baby that is crying, a baby with the mother in the room is okay, but when the mother walks out of the room, the baby cries. The baby cannot tell the difference, can't tell that the mother's coming back or not. That is a separation wound. In extreme cases, the child will emulate a fictitious mother internally. It's fantasy, but it is soothing, it is comforting to a degree as to what they can do. This is how they cope. So they've never fully individuated from the mother and from the trauma of the separation from the mother. And as they grow, know that a full-blown narcissist, as this post-traumatic experience, never fully individuates and instead develops other ways of understanding human patterns and behavior. They've never learned to form relationships, true relationships with others. Yet, there's two different types that are functioning, that can function in society, and then there's the other who will function in society to a degree, but then will retreat. Let's talk about the ones that are more common from what I've been coaching through and experiencing and understanding myself. They're extremely empathic, but cold empathy, which means they can read you. They can read the energy, the emotions, the feelings of others, but they don't feel them themselves because they have shut that part of themselves off by this this grandiose persona that they have built inside to survive in the world. Remember, internally, they're still between the ages of 2 and 6 years old. So when the narcissist recognizes someone else who has certain parts of themselves stuck in childhood, for example, codependence. We all do have inner child and we all do have stuck parts, but some more than others. Trust me when I say I've been living as my 10-year-old self for a very long time, or maybe a little bit younger than that for a very long time. And I'm very comfortable in my childlike nature because that's how I identify myself. I've worked through the individuation process where, and I will go into that maybe in this video, maybe in a separate video. But I want to just give an understanding of how I understand, how I see, how I have experienced narcissistic abuse in a spiritual sense. So the narcissists do not have the ability, unless they open up that wounded, innocent child within them between ages of 2 and 6, that's very painful and fearful. Unless they open that part of themselves, or the universe somehow brings an extreme event to them that opens that part of themselves up, like a stroke. I mean, we're talking extreme for some. They are stuck internally at that age, and they are seeking their mother as a partner, as a friend. When they are able to read certain people's energy and notice, recognize that someone else is also stuck, has a part of them stuck in a traumatic part of childhood. This is a trauma bond. They hone in. And again, I have a lot of empathy and compassion for anybody that has experienced, is diagnosed, or is a full-blown narcissist. We all have narcissistic tendencies, by the way. I do want to put that out there. But that's, again, I want to stick with what I want to say here. Where was I? I have a lot of compassion for them because it is a very lonely path of the narcissist. They don't form the ability to really fully bond soul to soul, heart to heart with others. Yet they have learned, they understand when somebody is sad. They know, I see, this person's crying. They are sad. I understand that that feels bad. I don't know because I don't allow myself to feel that, but I understand from my witnessing others, from books, from movies, from everything. They understand human emotional behavior. That's why it feels so calculated, because it is in the minds of others. But to the narcissist, this is how they survive life. Is just they are very like computer-like in a way. They do not show or allow themselves to feel truly. But the narcissist will recognize in others their emotions. Now, true empathy is, I see this person sad. I remember feeling sad. I know what it feels like, and I want to do something to help. The narcissist sees somebody sad. I understand what sad is, and that doesn't feel good. This is a good opportunity for me to maybe break in and connect. So there's that. So when we do end up connecting to somebody that is a narcissist, in the beginning phases, it is otherworldly, because the narcissist lives in a fantasy world. The narcissist is always recreating their life experience through fantasy, through this internal idea. And they want to play out and heal their inner child with you. So you find yourself, they call it love bombing and grooming, because they understand that this is what is needed. I know that this person needs. They want to bring you into their energy field, into their world of grandiosity. They actually turn and project to you self-love, true self-love. This is the awakening of like, oh, I am amazing. Oh, I am talented. Oh, I am beautiful. They recognize that you have not recognized that in yourself. So they're going to hover you with this over and over again to reel you into their fantasy. And it does become then a shared fantasy. The narcissist tries to groom you to become like them, to bond with the internal childhood trauma, and to elevate yourself to this grandiose version of yourself, which is fantasy, along with them. And it feels like bliss. It feels otherworldly, and it is highly, highly addictive, especially to the codependents and the borderlines, probably too. Anybody that is stuck, has an aspect of themselves stuck in a younger age of trauma that hasn't been able to fully move out of that and individuate. Now remember, the narcissist has never individuated from their mother. So what the narcissist will do next is will emanate to you nurturing, mothering energies, and you will begin to do the same for them. So we then create this mother matrix with each other. We begin to mother each other, and it's us against the world type energy. It is highly, highly addictive, and can be extremely painful when the narcissist then moves to the next phase, which they will, because this is a pattern, and it's unconscious pattern. I say unconscious. I would love to actually interview or question someone that is truly diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. But anyway, we'll get there one day. I'm only going by experience and by what I have learned from other professionals. Okay. So we're in the mothering phase now. Now the mothering phase is also extremely addictive. And you feel this euphoric, unconditional love for them and for yourself, because they are projecting this. We are projecting this to each other. This is the mother wound. Now, what happens after that is the narcissist, deep inside, the inner child, is kind of awakened at that point, because it is sort of activated. But the narcissist is not allowing that inner child to really come out and fully feel, because it's way too painful. So what they want to do next is individuate from the mother, which is now you. So when the narcissist moves from completely love bombing and valuing you, amazing you, they then start to separate, to devalue you, because internally their inner child wants to individuate. This is extremely painful for you, me, for us who have had these experiences. It is suddenly we are met with Jekyll and Hyde. Suddenly we are not valued. Suddenly we are put down or just degraded or just not respected. And it makes no sense at all. And when we try to talk about it, the narcissist, the other thing about the narcissist is they do not live in continuation of the mind. They are in a fantasy world, especially at this point when they're engaging with you. It's a fantasy land. It changes every single instant. So their personality, they're not home. Their true self is dormant. It is in infancy. It is in childlike state. Their false self is fantasizing whatever they want. And now what they want is freedom from the mother. So their behaviors make no sense. And it causes the codependent, it causes the, we'll call victim, although I don't really like to use that word, because I feel like this is the duality of life right now, enacting throughout the world. This is a big topic. This is a huge topic throughout YouTube, throughout the internet. It's huge. So I see these awakenings happening all the time. Now, I had this type of awakening, and I know the extreme pain that it caused me. I was also awakened to my psychic senses and my spiritual self to guide me through that. It did take a long time. And this is why it takes a lot of effort, a lot of awareness, a lot of presence, and a lot of self-love and healing to be able to heal and move on from that, because you also need to go through the process of individuation yourself in some aspect of your life. So when the narcissist is not on a continuous timeline, they don't remember, they have gaps in memory, a lot of them, because they're in fantasy world. So when you point out, like, you said this or you did that, they don't remember. They're going to say, I never said that. I didn't do that. They're going to gaslight you. It is not intentional. They truly do not recall. They were not there. Nobody's home. They're in fantasy land. And suddenly you're realizing, I don't want to be in fantasy land anymore. I want this relationship to work. So you do whatever you can to make the relationship work, and it fails. It fails every time for every single empath, every single codependent, every single one of us must go through this process, and it is painful. Many of us leave at this point. You know, everybody's different. I put 8 months in. I know people who have many, many, many years in. So this is why I have this video out. And I'm not even going, the topic of being raised by a narcissist will be for a whole different video. But you still develop those codependency patterns from that. But anyway, back to healing, moving beyond and not getting trapped in this narcissistic energy. You must separate yourself from them. You must work on your own healing, individuating, finding your true self, finding your soul self, doing your inner child work, finding that aspect of you that needed that connection. What in you needed to mother someone, needed to be needed? What in you? What age were you? Where were you? Find these parts. And if you have a hard time doing this on your own, there are practitioners out there that do parts work and shadow work and inner child work. I am one. I'm practicing over at Solace Farms Retreat Center in Chester County, Pennsylvania. For anybody that wants a link to that, I will share that in the comments. Back to where, so it is important to recognize you're not crazy. You're not. And when we separate from the narcissist, it's hard to detach because you feel a tremendous sense of not only pain and rejection, but you feel guilt and shame because you are abandoning your child. You are their mother. Yeah, let that one sink in deeply. And this is why it's so hard. But eventually they're going to piss you off and hurt you so bad that you have no choice but to leave, scarred and wounded. Now, I also see this as a universal process. Life is messy. It's not always easy, but it is meant for us to give us that. So my point here is to look at the gifts. It's hard to look at the gifts when somebody like literally drug you through a fire, but look at the gifts that this narcissist gave to you. I'll give you my own personal example. Prior to connecting with, and this goes along the twin flame journey. This is the exact same thing. So however you want to label it, whatever you want to call it, it is the same connection. It is the same journey. And it took me a long time to totally get to a point of not just healing, understanding, but forgiveness, true forgiveness. And then gratitude for having had that experience. If I did not have that experience, I would not be working with my psychic abilities now. I would not be diving into astrology. I would not be living my passion, my dream, my true passion. So I had that awakened in me. I wasn't giving myself that unconditional love that I was receiving in the love bombing phase. And it took me a long time to get that. I did understand it, but it was really hard to actually give that to myself. I was looking outside of myself to receive that. That's usually how it starts in the cycle of healing and individuation. But eventually you come to a point where if you're allowing and you're not stuck in the pain and the trauma that was caused by this relationship, you will eventually evolve and grow out of that and not stay stuck in that fantasy bubble of what was, it was given to you as that fantasy, love bombing, bubble, bliss, whatever you want to call it. It's amazing. It's otherworldly. It brings us back to what we needed to heal. Brings us back to a part of us that needed to heal, be recognized, loved, honored, and understood. I finally did understand, you know what? I had the worst negative self-talk. I did not believe in myself. I did not trust in the world. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of doubt. I had a lot of anger. My connection with a narcissist opened all of that up to me when I separated. And it was a dark night of the soul, but I needed it. It is a cleanse. It is a rebirth. Because when you finally rise back up out of those ashes, you had some parts in you that were awakened, activated. And that was the whole point. So whatever had been truly activated in you during the love bombing phase, that is true. That is within you. That is your love. That is your power. That is your energy. It may have been over-exaggerated a bit by the narcissist, but deep inside, and maybe not, don't over-exaggerate. You are amazing. If you are alive on this planet today, you are here for a reason, and you are a miracle. You are amazing, and you really need to take a look in the mirror and witness that in yourself. Tell yourself that, because we have been traumatized and programmed and beaten down to believe otherwise, and that's not true. So I don't know where I want to end this video. There's so much to talk about, but I want to keep it somewhat short. And I just want to throw that out there, that if you feel stuck, if you're not sure what is wrong with me, why can't I move on? Why can't I heal? Take a look. Take a look back. Go back. It's hard to go back when you're first in it. All right. It really is. You want to really give yourself grace and time to heal. You have gone through a lot. Nobody on this planet will tell you this as much as I will. It is a lot. I mean, maybe somebody on the planet will tell you. I'm not the only one, for sure. But, you know, when you look around, other people don't understand you or understand what you went through or what you experienced. It's because they don't understand. They haven't had that experience. I have. I know what it feels like. And it is soul crushing. But it really isn't crushing your soul. It's crushing your ego. It's crushing your own mask, your own facade, your own. And the other thing that the narcissist does, which I find interesting, because I see a lot of people asking, am I the narcissist? No. You have to ask that question. You are not the narcissist. You have been brought into their world, their fantasy world. And yes, you did maybe play out some narcissistic, but those are parts from you as well. We also tend to feel a lot of shame and guilt around that. When we reflect back, you're like, who was I? I don't even know. I thought I was this great person, but obviously I'm not. That's not true. You are a great person, just not in the grandiose narcissistic way. So take time to heal. Truly take the time to heal. You will see the gifts in this. And to finally get to a point where you can have forgiveness and compassion for all of those out there with narcissistic personality disorder at any scale of the spectrum, because that is a lonely, lonely life. And no, you cannot save them. The mothering part in you wants to help them, wants to save them. Trust me, I know. This will backfire on you every single time, and it will cause you more pain. It will cause you more trauma. It will cause you more suffering. The narcissist chose you to be their mother, not their savior. If you should reflect to them that they need help or saving, they are going to be irate. Their ego, their alter ego, because again, they're not awake. They're in infantile stage. That's dormant. Don't burst their bubble or they will come after you. So it's not up to you, unfortunately. It's up to God. It's up to the universe. They'll have their time, their turn, their chance for healing. And I'm sure in some way, shape, or form, their engagement with you did wake up a part of them. And with all the energy that is going on around the planet to awaken more and more humans to their true soul self and their true essence, I hold hope for everybody to have a chance to really awaken, evolve, grow, individuate, find your truth. Find your peace. Find your path. Find your self-love. Self-love is what this journey is all about. And I'm going to end this video with that. I'm sending you all out so much love. Take care.